Good morning, everyone. I'm Megyn Kelly. It's Friday, February 20th, 2026, and this is your AM Update.
The Board of Peace is going to almost be looking over the United Nations and making sure it runs properly.
President Trump outlining an ambitious vision at the first meeting of the newly formed Board of Peace.
There was no business. There was no business anywhere. You finally have a president who put America first.
The president also speaking in the state of Georgia, highlighting key economic wins as midterms ramp up. Former Prince Andrew released from UK custody after being arrested for allegedly sharing confidential British documents with Jeffrey Epstein. U.S. military forces amassing in the Middle East as President Trump warns Iran the time to make a deal is right now. And Team USA women's hockey defeats our evil top hat, winning the Olympic gold medal. All that and more coming up in just a moment on your AM Update. How are you showing a little extra love this February? It could be about creating cozy, comforting moments at home. And that's why I want to tell you about Cozy Earth. Their bamboo pajama set is a total sleep upgrade. It's lightweight and unbelievably soft and drapes beautifully. It actually sleeps cooler than cotton, so I fall asleep super fast and stay comfortable all night long. Love their sleepwear. And for winding down on the couch, they have their classic cuddle blanket. It's richly plush with just the right comforting weight, warm, indulgent, and instantly relaxing. And what really sets Cozy Earth apart is how risk-free it is. You get a 100-night sleep trial and a 10-year warranty. So this level of comfort truly lasts. Share a little extra love this February and wrap yourself or someone you care about in comfort that truly feels special. Head to CozyEarth.com, use my code Megyn for up to 20% off your order. That's code Megyn for up to 20% off. And if you get a post-purchase survey, be sure to mention you heard about Cozy Earth right here. Celebrate every day. Love. With comfort that makes the little moments count more. President Trump hosting the inaugural gathering of the newly formed Board of Peace yesterday morning in Washington, D.C. The Trump administration proposing the Board of Peace last year to oversee the 20-point peace plan to end conflict between Israel and Gaza. Mr. Trump serving as chair of the board. Top Trump officials, including Vice President J.D. Vance, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Special Envoy Steve Witkoff, and presidential son-in-law Jared Kushner, named Special Peace Envoy yesterday, attending the event. Also joining, representatives from more than 40 countries, including heads of state and high-ranking diplomats. President Trump, in true businessman fashion, framing the board as a coalition of global leaders focused on ending wars, advancing stability, and, yes, saving dough.
Board of Peace is one of the most important and consequential things I think that I'll be involved in. We've been involved in a lot. Really, I've been involved in a lot with the people up here. We work together on ending wars with their country because there's nothing more important than peace. And there's nothing less expensive than peace. You know, when you go to wars, it costs you 100 times what it costs to make peace. It's a team. I think it's the best team ever assembled. And you see that by the results.
Some key U.S. allies declining to join the board. France becoming the first to reject its invitation, citing concerns that the board's charter, quote, goes beyond the framework of Gaza and raises serious questions, in particular with respect to the principles and structure of the United Nations, which cannot be called into question. Austria, Greece, New Zealand, Norway, and the Vatican, also among some of the nations rejecting the invite, citing similar concerns about the Board of Peace. The UN Security Council in November endorsing a narrowly tailored board tied specifically to governing Gaza during Reconstruction. But in January, President Trump introducing a significantly expanded version, the official charter making no mention of Gaza at all, instead outlining a broader mandate to, quote, promote stability, restore dependable and lawful governance, and secure enduring peace in areas affected or threatened by conflict. In a less than subtle shot at the UN, the board's charter notes that, quote, too many approaches to peace building foster perpetual dependency and institutionalize crisis, end quote, positing that a, quote, more nimble and effective, end quote, alternative is necessary. In yesterday's remarks, President Trump describing a close working relationship with the UN, while also suggesting the board could play a role in strengthening how the UN operates.
We are very closely working with the United Nations. I think the United Nations has great potential, really great potential. It has not lived up to potential. The 8 wars, I never even spoke to them about one of them, and I should be speaking to them about all of them. Someday I won't be here. The United Nations will be, I think, is going to be much stronger. The Board of Peace is going to almost be looking over the United Nations and making sure it runs properly. But we're going to strengthen up the United Nations. We're going to make sure its facilities are good. They need help, and they need help money-wise. We're going to help them money-wise. And we're going to make sure the United Nations is viable. And you have some very good people at the United Nations can do a good job.
Mr. Trump announcing the United States will contribute $10 billion to the board. It's unclear where exactly that money will come from. A donation of this size would likely require approval from Congress. The president acknowledging each of the more than 40 delegates by name, including a very warm welcome for the president of Paraguay, Santiago Peña.
President Peña of Paraguay is here. President, thank you very much. Young, handsome guy. It's always nice to be young and handsome. Doesn't mean we have to like you. I don't like young, handsome men. Women, I like. Men, no, I don't have any interest.
Vice President J.D. Vance, following the president's remarks, making the case for why Americans should support the board.
I think it's important that the American people recognize why we're here today. Yes, to save lives, and yes, to promote peace, but this creates incredible prosperity for the American people. The countries represented here represent trillions of dollars of investment in the United States of America that would not have been possible without this president's leadership and advocacy for peace. The economies here represent millions of American jobs of people who are receiving products built in American factories and made by American workers would not be possible without a focus on peace.
A busy day for President Trump yesterday following his Board of Peace appearance. Mr. Trump flying south to Rome, Georgia, to deliver remarks on the economy at the Coosa Steel Corporation, an effort clearly aimed at shoring up support before the midterms. Next up, host Mark Halperin, part of the MK Media Podcast Network, reporting Wednesday on a recent strategy briefing presented by, quote, Senior Trump Political Command. Dozens in attendance, including Secretaries Scott Bessent, Howard Lutnick, RFKJ, Sean Duffy, and senior aides. Halperin reporting pollster Tony Fabrizio informing attendees, quote, the economy will be the issue in the election. Fabrizio reportedly saying President Trump may not stick to message, but everyone else is expected to. Yesterday, down in the Peach State, President Trump speaking for about an hour, largely sticking to economic themes, but of course, there were the detours. Mr. Trump on his administration's drive to return steel manufacturing back to the U.S.
I'm looking at all this brand new steel and equipment that just went up because of our tariffs. Your jobs were being stolen as foreign nations dumped their subsidized products. Don't forget China and these other countries, they pay for it. It's all subsidized. And thanks to what I call the Trump tariffs, business at Coosa Steel is booming again. We just spoke, it's booming. And it's all because you finally have a president who put America first. That's what it is. Well, there was no business. There was no business anywhere. And I'll tell you, if I didn't win this election, and if you had a moron like Kamala or a moron like Sleepy Joe Biden, if you had these people back, our country would have been finished. We wouldn't have had a country.
Mr. Trump also calling on Congress to pass voter ID laws, the House passing the SAVE Act earlier this month, requiring proof of citizenship to register to vote and mandating photo ID to vote in federal elections. That bill now goes to the Senate, where it faces an uphill battle even getting a vote, which requires 60 senators, given the stiff Democrat opposition. Here, President Trump.
The Democrats don't want to give us voter ID because they want to cheat. You know what they say? We don't want voter ID because it's racist. Okay? That's a good one. It's racist. No. I'll tell you what, when they look at the polls, 95% of the people want voter ID. Then you have proof of citizenship. So we want voter ID. We want proof of citizenship. For you to vote, let's prove that you're an American. I'll tell you what, Republicans have to win this one. We'll never lose a race. For 50 years, we won't lose a race. We want voter ID. We want proof of citizenship. And we don't want mail-in ballots except for the military far away, except for people that are ill, disabled, or people that are away. Even for a vacation, we'll be generous, okay?
The president telling a story about flying to Iraq during the first administration to better understand the fight against ISIS, offering this musing.
I flew to Iraq. I was extremely brave. In fact, so brave I wanted to give myself the Congressional Medal of Honor. I said to my people, am I allowed to give myself the Congressional Medal of Honor? And, I've given out so many to guys that are seriously brave. I mean, they come in with the arms are missing, the legs are missing. The stories are so unbelievable. And I said, no, it's a little stretch if I gave myself one of them. But it's one of those things. Someday I'm going to try. I'm going to test the law, and I'm going to say, let's give it a shot. Maybe I'll win in court after everyone sues me, after radical left lunatics sue me. Now watch. The fake news, I'm having fun. The fake news will say, Donald Trump wants to give himself the Congressional Medal of Honor.
Coming up, former Prince Andrew, now just Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, released from UK custody following his historic arrest. The man looked terrified. Amid a massive buildup of U.S. military forces in the Middle East, President Trump weighs options about what to do with Iran. And a dramatic gold medal victory for Team USA women's hockey. Yes. If you're stressed out about getting out of debt, it's go time. This is one of those moments where timing matters. And let me tell you about Done with Debt. 2025 was a record year for them. People who collectively had more than $102 million in debt turned to these guys for help. And right now may be the best time for you to negotiate a settlement. Done with Debt tracks credit card and loan company behavior. They are experienced at knowing who's negotiating and when, and what it takes to get you the biggest reduction possible. Whether you are carrying $10,000 or $500,000 in debt, this may be the best chance you will get all year. So consider scheduling a free consultation. It only takes a few minutes. Imagine waking up without that weight on your shoulders and doing it without taking out another loan or filing for bankruptcy. Done with Debt helps you through the debt relief process so you keep more of your paycheck every month. Go to donewithdebt.com right now. That's donewithdebt.com. The UK's former Prince Andrew released from police custody last night following his arrest yesterday morning. British police detaining Mountbatten Windsor on suspicion of misconduct in public office, tied to newly surfaced emails from the Epstein files indicating that Andrew appears to have shared confidential material with Epstein while serving as a British trade envoy in 2010, after Epstein's 2008 sex crimes conviction. After nearly 11 hours in custody, police releasing the eighth in line to the British throne, quote, under investigation, meaning the case remains ongoing and he has neither been charged nor cleared. Authorities adding the search of Windsor's current residence at the Royal Sandringham estate had concluded, but the search of a former home, also located on royal property, remained ongoing at the time of his release. Windsor photographed leaving Aylsham Police Station Thursday night, looking wide-eyed, stunned, and downright shaken from his reclined seat in the back of a vehicle. The former prince's royal status reduced in 2022 due to his ties with Jeffrey Epstein and allegations of wrongdoing relating to Epstein victims, the late Queen Elizabeth stripping his military titles and patronages. In 2025, King Charles removing all remaining honors, including the title of prince. King Charles and Queen Camilla continuing public appearances on Thursday, the king attending the opening of London Fashion Week. Both royals ignoring shouted questions from reporters. Across the pond, President Trump asked if he expects more arrests to come.
Do you think people in this country at some point, associates of Jeffrey Epstein, will wind up in handcuffs too?
Well, I'm the expert in a way because I've been totally exonerated. That's very nice. I can actually speak about it very nicely. I think it's a shame. I think it's very sad. I think it's so bad for the royal family. It's a very, very sad. To me, it's a very sad thing. When I see that, it's a very sad thing. To see it and to see what's going on with his brother, who's obviously coming to our country very soon, and he's a fantastic man, the king. So I think it's a very sad thing.
The former prince has previously denied any wrongdoing. The maximum penalty for misconduct in public office is life in prison, although there is zero chance of that happening here. President Trump weighing options on Iran as a major American military buildup unfolds in the Middle East. Earlier this week, U.S. and Iranian negotiators meeting for the latest round of talks over an Iranian nuclear deal. Both sides saying progress has been made, but there is more work to be done. You know the drill. But this time, the talks occurring with 13 U.S. Navy ships entering the region, including 2 aircraft carriers and 9 destroyers. Dozens of fighter jets repositioning to bases surrounding Iran, with more en route. The Wall Street Journal calling it, quote, the greatest amount of air power in the region since the 2003 invasion of Iraq. Oh boy. The Journal reporting President Trump is considering multiple options, targeting the remnants of Iran's nuclear program, crippling its missile force, or potentially toppling the mullahs. Why again? Here's President Trump.
I've always heard peace in the Middle East is impossible, and it's turned out not to be. And we do have some work to do with Iran. They can't have a nuclear weapon. It's very simple. You can't have peace in the Middle East if they have a nuclear weapon. And they can't have a nuclear weapon. And they've been told that very strongly. So now we may have to take it a step further, or we may not. Maybe we're going to make a deal. You're going to be finding out over the next probably 10 days.
Later on in the day, President Trump telling reporters Iran has a, quote, maximum of 15 days to make a deal. Move over, Megyn Kelly. Make room for Megyn Keller, who scored the game-winning goal against our northern neighbor, the U.S. women's hockey team beating Canada to win Olympic gold in Milan. Canada scoring first in the second period, and there it stood, seemingly forever. With just 2 minutes and 4 seconds left on the clock, Team USA pulled its goalie in a desperate move to find a shot. Team USA's veteran leader, Hillary Knight, then changing history, tying the game at 1-1 to a deafening roar of cheers in the arena. In sudden death overtime, the great Megyn Keller caught a length of the ice pass from Taylor Heiss, reports Yahoo Sports, then juked Canadian defender Claire Thompson to push the puck through the goalie's legs for Team USA's game-winning goal. Thompson remained splayed, defeated on the ice as Team USA rushed Keller, hugging and high-fiving before an ecstatic audience. This marks the first gold medal hockey win for the women's team since 2018. Later, the women, said to be the best women's hockey team America has ever had, lined up shoulder to shoulder, singing the national anthem as the Stars and Stripes went up in the gold medal position. Go USA. And that'll do it for your AM update. I'm Megyn Kelly. Join me back here for the MK Show, live on SiriusXM's The Megyn Kelly Channel, 111 at noon East, on youtube.com/Megyn Kelly, and on all podcast platforms.